The Freedom Trail as such was set up to commemorate the helpers who assisted evaders and escapers, essentially to freedom. Allied forces, predominantly aircrew, were shot down over Europe and needed to make their way to safety. And in order to do that, they needed to link up with local resistance. Around about 1941, groups were set up, assisted those Allied forces in making their way down to the Pyrenees border. The route from Brussels was mainly by train, and they were met by one of the key guides in that region who was known as Florentino. He was a key figure in the Comete line network. As a smuggler, he knew the routes over the border, and he could assist those Allied forces evading the Germans and the Spanish on the Spanish border. But these helpers, they paid a high price. Many lost their lives. Many were tortured who didn't survive that, and some that did survive were then taken to Ravensbrück, a concentration camp. This was a really tough journey. It's tough for anybody that, even in modern day is reasonably fit, well equipped. But if you imagine people that may have escaped from an aircraft, potentially aircrew, not as well conditioned as British infantry units, not as well equipped, might have flying boots. They may have also sustained injuries from that parachute descent, and obviously suffering from, malnutrition, sleep deprivation, and just constantly living in fear. The route itself, once they got down to Saint-Jean-de-Luz from the safe house, they would set out. It's low rolling hills, some country lanes, and then you start to get to Pyrenees range themselves and steeper hills. They did this in all weathers. The journey itself could have taken at least 12 hours, with little rest through the night, including quite a river crossing, which at different times of the year could have been in full flood, and sadly, some members lost their lives in that river. The final leg of the route would take them down to Serobe Farm, where they would be fed, welcomed, and imagine that's the first time on that long journey, arduous journey, that they could breathe a slight sigh of relief. After they'd been rested at Serobe Farm, they'd make their way down into the valley, into the villages, pick up a tram, take them right the way into San Sebastian. And the packages, as they were known, would then be handed over to somebody else who would then lead them where a member of the British Embassy would link up with them. And often this was done in a bar. One of them was Paco Breno, where they were just told to await a signal where a man would come in with a hat, take his hat off, scratch his head 3 times, and they were then to approach him, and he was the guy, he was their man who was then going to take them to the British diplomatic service and an onward journey, potentially to Madrid and Gibraltar, hopefully to make all their way back to the UK. And really the whole essence of this story is all about the humanity. Somebody is willing to take huge risk, significant risk, not only to themselves, to their families, to help people they've never met before, they'll never meet again. And that's a great example for all of us.